Oh, look, a friend of the show, Ryan, is in the chat. What's going on there?
What up?
Loving that new that Boba's Palace he made too, man.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. And speaking of Ryan, it's ironic that he's here because I was gonna give a little weekly shout out to our dude Ryan. I mean, like, the dude's been making videos for a while now, but I think you know, this Boba Fett finale video, especially with getting close to like 30K views, like I'm super happy for him because I've always said, like, you know, he's my friend, so I mean, I'm gonna hype him up. You know, he's pretty cool dude, but like for being on the lower end of subscribers in the YouTube space, like definitely underrated. Like, so he definitely deserves like a video to blow up, so to speak. And
yeah.
Not to like jinx him or anything, but when we had Rich Boy Jay on the podcast, his Star Killer MOC had 500,000, and now it's got 1 million. I'm just saying. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I was fortunate to see that in person at Virginia.
Really?
Killer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also, before I forget, like and subscribe, guys. We always forget to say this, and I do it in my videos all the time. Like, I'll make an entire video and be like, I didn't do this.
Panders on the planet Hive. We hate it, but
yeah,
no, I'm horrible at it too. Like I said, I'm like Good Morning Brick World. Luckily,
we're crawling towards 250, baby. We're gonna get to 250 and then 500 and keep it rolling, right, guys? That's the
absolutely
the old-fashioned way.
We're doing it the old-fashioned way. So you mentioned Ryan. You know, it'd be awesome. If like, you know, he wanted to stop by or something, that would be cool.
Yeah,
you know?
like we should, like right now probably would be
that'd
cool.
be funny if Ryan stopped by, because we like his ears were burning from us talking about it.
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, how about that?
Go.
You guys are cracking me up.
I blew the whole thing, but I think it's all right with it.
Hey, this is a first on the show. Double guests.
Five.
Dude, I feel honored, man.
Double guests.
We're the Brick Five. There you go.
Brick Five. Yeah,
coming with the dad puns hard and heavy early.
that pun was good.
So yeah, so now that housekeeping is kind of done, Brent, where did you want to go with this? Couple different ways. You want to get into the MOC?
So while we got Ryan, because I know he doesn't have the whole episode, but obviously, like we'll bring Ryan back for a full episode very soon, I'm sure. But while we got you, man, we're gonna go ahead and we can just bring up the video and turn the audio off and just kind of give us a little bit more of the inside, a little bit of, you know, and kind of what it's been like to have. I mean, you haven't had a video get this many views yet, right?
Oh no. Well, I've had 2 that have gotten above like 23,000, I think it is. It was like my Harry Potter stop motion that I did.
Okay.
And then a comparison of this right here, the Technic 911 and the Crater 911. Okay. And I got so much hate for that one.
Wow.
It just because, like, I was pointing out which one I liked more. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I wanted to add a little stop motion in here for fun.
This was great.
Like, I love it, but I was so rusty. I hadn't done it in like...
Oh, man. I could have watched, like, more of it because it wasn't super long.
And I haven't done it in
like 9 months. So I was so rusty, and it takes so much time, but I was like, I want to incorporate showing the scene like come to life, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And
so I wanted to just add like a minute-long version in it just to, you know, just showcase it. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome, dude.
But yeah, the MOC, man, I didn't expect the video to do this good because, again, I only have 4,000 subscribers, and it's gained some traction, which has been fun. But okay. I got the first Boba Fett throne room like at Costco, or I got one. And when I was there, I was like, well, for $80 I could get 2 of them, and I could build a bigger one, right?
Real quick, right? I loved I love that conversation that you had with yourself there. I do that your justification.
Pause it there, Max.
I do the same thing. You're sitting there going like, you probably went through like a range of emotions. You're like, all right, so like this will probably go quick because it's on sale, right? There was probably concern that it'll be gone, and then you were probably like, you know, I'd pay $160 for a bigger version of this, and I'm essentially doing the same thing. Were those kind of things swirling through your mind when you were picking up, or?
Dude, 100%. And I was like, well, then I could have like 2 Gamorrean guards and like the extra minifigs in it that I don't need. Like I could let my son have them, and I can keep, you know,
sell them.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then I was like looking at it, and I'm like, well, if I'm going to make it bigger, I may as well just make it really big.
Yeah.
and like for me, this is really big, right?
That's what she said. Oh, no, not that's
Just come on, you guys.
Because I've only done a couple mocks ever, so it's not like ping pong table size, but it's big enough that it's like right above me right here. And so I don't know. I honestly winged it. I just laid it out on a paper.
Did you wong it, or you winged it?
You winged it.
I wong is wong. Do you say wong?
I wong it.
Are you going to create a combo platter with Mos Eisley? Because I'm smelling that right there. You gotta combo that with Mos Eisley.
Mos Eisley City.
Yeah, man, it was a fun build. I would have changed some things now that I did it, but I didn't stop. Once I started it, I just worked around my errors, and I didn't want to keep going back and trying different things. And I had just the right amount of pieces. I mean, I went through, I think it ended up being like 4,500 or 4,500 or so, if you don't include the Boba Fett Slave 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it was so much fun. It was technical for me because I've never done something like this. I've only done my hospital mock, which was like a base plate and a half. Other than that, I've only built really small stuff. So this was like,
is that sitting on a Mills plate?
No, so it's actually, I just did like a trim, like a border. I should have done all black for like that more display look, but I just wanted a trim piece. So it's just one brick high. It's on base plates.
Okay.
But I should have done it now, thinking about what you're saying. I should have done it on a Mills for sure.
I just made it more because it definitely helps with stability on heavy. And I only know because I've watched a lot of the city builders and stuff, you know, with the Mills stuff, which I plan to do eventually.
Before we get past this part of the video, before we get
legit.
past this part, that shot in the beginning when he had all the minifigures lined up. I don't know about you guys, but that looks like one of those like lifestyle pictures, like when you're looking at a Lego set and you scroll through and it shows it in somebody's house. I'm not.
Yeah, no, it does. It does look like a Lego.
I know, Ryan. Where's your?
Look at that. I know, right?
Now listen,
all you need is that telescope lens, man.
Ryan, where's your fine mahogany in there?
Oh my gosh! Well, you know what? It's funny you mentioned the lens, the probe lens. I talked to my wife about me getting it. It's like $1,500 though for the lens, and I'm like, oh shoot. But it honestly, I knew I put a lot of effort into this build, between getting all the pieces, you know, and just designing it and building it. And so I was like, why not really try and put a lot of effort into like the finale and get out like my slider, as you guys are seeing here, and clean my kitchen, because I've never done anything in the kitchen for my videos. And so I was like, why not just give it a go?
To me, like, so when it's in these like really well lit shots right here, and like how I mentioned, it's almost like one of the, I think they call them like the lifestyle photos when you see them on lego.com.
Yeah.
I was texting with Ryan because, you know, we do that. We're buddies. No big deal. But I was telling him, I was like,
I've noticed I haven't been getting as many texts lately. Should I be jelly or what's going on?
Be very jealous.
All right. All right.
But what I want to
cheating. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I told him, I was like, this is almost like the Master Builder series Jabba's / Boba's palace that we haven't had yet. And I mean, dude, this thing, like, I mean, you said it's about 4,500. I mean, what's the cantina? Just about that. And it was what? It was 350. I mean, I
paid $350 for that.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
If this was a package, if this was like $350, $400 with all those figs, I mean, dude, I mean, they're probably, obviously they won't, if they would do this one day, but they obviously just gave us the play scale version. So if we see something like this from Lego, maybe it'll be in a few years. And I mean, it could be like the Falcon. The Falcon, it's technically a Force Awakens / Empire Falcon because it's got the figs. They could make one like this and have Boba Fett, but also have Jabba, and it'd be like, oh, it's like a, you know, Return of the Jedi / Book of Boba Fett set. And dude, I'll pay $450.
Well, that's the thing I've noticed in the comments. A lot of people are like, oh, like this would be perfect for like a Jabba set. You know what I mean? And one guy was like, oh, dude, I wish you had the sail barge instead of the Slave 1 and had Jabba in it. I'm like, that would look way good. I'm like, but I don't have that.
No, you know what? Well, I guess the scales are about the same, but I like how that tucks in there. I think it's, dude, this is
the Rancor pit's so dope.
This is the Diagon Alley for Star Wars, man. You know,
yeah,
that's a good way to put it. Thank you.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because it's like you were on, Ryan. I think when we were either it had just come out or we were on the hype train for the set to drop. It was somewhere in that time frame, and we were all like, "Yeah, we got the." Oh man, it just doesn't look right, and you just kind of rolled your sleeves up and said, "Like, I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make this
hold my
happen."
beer. I got this. It's like the hold my beer meme.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that you did really good was you put a lot in there, but you didn't put too much. You know what I mean? It's, for me, it's just the right amount of stuff. You know.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, I just, dude, it's really amazing, dude. I'd love to put that in my desert, man. because that's what I was hoping when the Boba Fett. See, they called it the throne room. I noticed they didn't even call it the palace. You know, they called it the throne room. And I know why they did
be a palace.
yeah. But I was hoping it was going to, like we all did. We thought it was going to be a little bit more. You know what I mean? And then I was like, I can modify it if it's not quite enough. But obviously, did you only bought 2 sets, right? And then just had pieces.
You bought a bunch of pieces too.
So I bought two of the throne rooms, and then I went on just Bricklink, and that's where I just I don't have experience doing it, so I really took the time, and when I mean time, I probably spent 16 hours going through all the pieces that I wanted to get, and then eventually just narrowed it down, and I just bought what I thought would work, and sure enough, barely by like the hair on my chinny chin chin, I had just enough pieces. And again, I had to like jerry rig it in some places because I ran out of important ones, like important pieces I needed, like slopes. But at the end of the day, like those top ones for the roof, those were each curve that are like 10 or whatever studs tall. Each of those were like $10 a pop. So
that's
just that
Jabba,
like
right? That's from the Jabba set.
Yeah.
And that's a thing. I mean, like if I was smart, and I am sometimes, but not all the time. No, as soon as we saw that set was a bust, it's I mean, kind of a bust for as far as what we were expecting. Because we heard the rumors about the roof component, and Lego can't do it because it resembles certain things and all that. I was like, man, I should jump right on and get those. And I bet if I did, like right when it came out, it would have been okay. I'm curious to see what the lift was on those, pre-leak into seeing what it was, and everybody kind of mockers getting their ideas and going like, got to get those.
I bet you they were around like $3 a pop before, like with the size of piece they are.
Yeah.
Because even the big ugly rock pieces, the burnt pieces, those are like $4 or $5.
Yeah.
And that, again, I bought a bunch of those too. So that's where a lot of the money that went into it was those 2 pieces are $40, and then a bunch of the rock pieces I had to get. But they again ended up being around 10. So I'm sure they jumped up 3 to 4 times what they were before, those circular pieces.
Dude, if this again, I don't want to like jinx you, but like how I made the comparison to Rich Boy J, how like we had him on the show when he had 500,000 and he gets 1 million freaking views on that thing. Like, Lego saw that. I mean, he was in February for Black History Month, he was on Lego.com in an article. So I mean, Lego knows about Rich Boy, but this blows up a little bit, and then Lego's like, people like this bigger Jabba's Palace. Like, maybe we'll make it a Master Builders series version in a few years.
Well, and they totally could. Like, and that's the thing is, this could easily be, obviously not my exact version, of course, but I'm saying this concept would be such a fun build to have. Something with more height. Like, take, how Mos Eisley Cantina is all just one level high, right?
Yeah.
But then you've got Ninjago City Gardens that's like 6 stories high.
Daily Bugle.
Why don't you take something that's like in between? With this, you know what I mean? Something like this size, make it a little wider and a little taller, and meet in the middle. But I don't know. That's just my thoughts. It was so much fun though. Honestly, I think the reason why I also added the Slave 1, as you can see there, it adds the right amount of color that it needed, because everything's just so neutral and gray and tan.
It gives it a good contrast.
Exactly. So, but yeah, man, it was fun, and I appreciate all your guys' nice comments about it. It was a fun build, and I've already got.
Oh, for the next one, I'm stoked.
I've already got like a third of my next mock piece.
So
that showed
can
up
we?
today.
So is it confirmed? Oh, so it's confirmed for what you're doing, right? We can talk about that.
Oh yeah, I haven't, like, the video. It's going live tomorrow on my channel of what I'm doing, but I'm doing a Lord of the Rings one next, so that'll be fun.
Exclusive news. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, I'm super.
I saw your vote. I voted the other way, but I'll watch that.
Don't worry.
What did you vote for, Sean?
Another exclusive, I guess. That'll be the.
Well, it was Lord of the Rings versus what? I voted for not Lord of the Rings.
Well, there was 5 options.
Marvel.
And then
Marvel was in the
I did
finals.
5 themes. I did
okay. I saw the
Castle,
finals.
Pirate, Harry Potter, Marvel, and in Lord of the Rings. But Marvel and Lord of the Rings got like all the votes. So then I was like, okay, let's put them together and see what everyone did, like really wants, and it was Lord of the Rings. So I'm like, cool, I love Lord of the Rings, so why not?
Go.
The only reason I didn't want Lord of the Rings is my body is still in the movie theater in 2005 or whatever it was, waiting for the third one to finish. That's
come on, Sean. He bags on the third one, and I'm like, listen,
Lord of the
dude.
Rings, it had so many endings. I'm like, what is this? The alternative
you know what
ending
else it had,
DVD?
Sean? It had so many endings, but it also had so many Academy Awards.
Said even the trees walked in that movie.
Okay, but here's the thing,
dude. That movie was so long. I was like, get me out of here.
The new Batman is long, but it's good.
This is why
I wanted to get a beer, honestly.
Okay, very few movies capture so many characters as if you feel like they're all the main character.
Right.
It really gave closure to all these main characters instead of like, oh, here's our one or two main characters. It was like a whole crew of them, and they like gave closure to a lot of them. And I think that's why it was a slow ending. But that's my justification.
Or they could have just made 9 of them.
Yeah.
And then like
Return of the King concluded the series beautifully. It of course gets an A+.
You know,
I knew something was going to come out of your mouth, Sean, like that. Okay.
Listen, Sean, the new Batman is long, but it's good.
Listen. I was an impatient boy when those were out, and now I'm a slightly less impatient man.
Game of Thrones has like 50
I have not watched them since the original run. I need to do it. I also haven't watched Hobbit again due to the PTSD of the ending of Lord of the Rings 3.
They're not as good.
I need to suck down all of those and get myself hyped for your deal, Ryan, and I'll do that for you. And I'll turn the corner on it. I've been wrong before.
You will.
I appreciate you being open to it, Sean.
Listen, they talked me into watching like the prequels again. I'm like, not half bad. 2 is still terrible, but I mean, it's. You know,
2's bad, but it's got a couple good moments.
I remember really liking it. I'm just semi playing here. I'll watch it.
Well, the way I always compare it, like if someone's new to Lord of the Rings and they're like, so what's up with like the Hobbits and like the Lord of the Rings? I'm like, okay, if you like Star Wars, just think about it like that. Like the original 3 came out and they were really good, and then there were prequels and they weren't as good, but that's kind of how it goes. Before we get jamming, I was gonna say, Ryan, I'll let you get your because we'll get caught up talking about like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars movies forever.
I know that's the problem. You get me on that run, I won't stop.
Right.
But I appreciate you guys having me on just for a little bit.
Man. That was awesome.
I'm definitely gonna hop in the chat though, as I have to go work.
Hey,
it's nice meeting you, Ryan.
Nice meeting you. You guys have a good end of the show, and I'll be watching. All right.
Yep. Thanks for coming on, man.
See you, Ryan.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it. Was I too stiff on the Lord of the Rings? Did I run them off?
It's fine. No.
You're good.
I'm messing. It doesn't matter. It's how I feel, man. No, always good to see our bud Ryan. And dude, I didn't know. So what did it blow up to? I was team early on it, and I congratulated.
28.
Nice.
No, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I think it was 12 or whatever, and I'm like, "Hey, bud, good stuff." He's like, "Thanks, man."
28.
I knew it was fire, but I'm so glad good for him, man. That's awesome.
Man.
Cool.